Street Roller Hockey League. Tell us more about exactly what it is and how you stumbled on it.
Yeah, so basically I found a ice hockey stick in an op shop when I was on the way home from uni one day, and I bought it. It was $5. I didn't really need it. So I went with my mate Craig, and he actually bought a hockey stick the same week, like coincidentally. We kind of told each other, and we thought it was fate that we should at least try and play a game, and we did. And all our mates kind of joined in. We bought like 10 pairs of rollerblades from the Morley Rollerdrome, like ex-rental rollerblades, which they all fell apart after a couple of games. But, we kind of had the bug and kept playing.
And this is only back in 2013, right? So you had 4 founding leagues or 4 founding teams?
4 teams, yeah. And they were all my mates. And the overarching idea behind the league was to base it in a suburb of Perth and then kind of create fake beefs with the other suburbs and just have a bit of fun.
And how many teams have you got now?
117. So I went from 4 to 117 in 3 years.
But why do you reckon it's exploded so much? What is it about it that people love?
Well, my main influence in starting league was all my friends that quit sport as soon as they turned 18. So a lot of my friends love sport and quit as soon as they finished school and had to go to uni and get a part-time job and discovered partying and girls and alcohol. So like all those people just drop away because they can't commit to the schedule of 2 trainings a week and one game. So that was the major influence. So we've rocked a flexible fixturing model. So if I'm the captain of a team and you're the captain of a team, the fixtures come out and we don't set a time or a location. We have to talk about it.
That's really cool. So that's kind of your point of difference, isn't it?
That's our point of difference, yeah.
So how did you figure out that was like a gap? How did you figure out people wanted that?
Well, I played like fairly high level sport growing up. I still play footy and baseball, and I had a season off baseball last year because I broke my wrist playing roller hockey.
Right.
And it just wasn't as fun. That summer wasn't as fun. You really miss that camaraderie of sports groups. But there is a massive dropout rate from 17-year-olds to 18-year-olds. But if the people who stay in sport, who like jump over that dropout rate, they kind of form lifelong relationships. So
it's more than just the hockey; it's the whole tribal networking community kind of vibe going on.
That's it, yeah, and that's a thing that we've even I think we've even tried to do more of, is be more of a community than any other sporting league, because we've kind of decoupled sport and competition. We don't really care who wins or loses. We still score, but at the end of the day, you'd rather be having a beer with your mates at the grand final than playing it, so no one's trying too hard.
Do they develop their own logo, or how does that all work? Because it's almost like people are competing with their logo when you look at it.
Yeah, that's it, and that's another point of difference between our league and any other sporting league in Perth. It's a do-it-yourself team creation model. So we've kind of borrowed from mixed netball, where you kind of join a team with your own mates. You make a team with your own mates.
Tell us about the Rink and where you played before the Rink.
Yeah, so before the Rink, we played on public basketball courts or high school tennis and basketball courts. Often we didn't necessarily get permission to play on them. Basically, I left it up to the captains to get permission, but it was mainly, there were so many unloved and unused public basketball courts that if we got kicked off one, we could just find another one. There was a period of time where we got kicked off 20 different courts in 20 weeks, and we didn't care, because that was kind of part of the fun.
I was about to say, was that a bit of a badge of honour?
Yeah, it was a bit of a badge of honour. Just got too many. There's only like a finite number of basketball courts in Perth, and we were getting kicked off one a week. So it was like, we're either going to have to get our own facility or we'll have to die just due to lack of facilities, because the league was still growing crazy.
You raised funds and got your own rink.
Yeah, so we had a quiz night, which raised about 10 grand. We have like a grand final party every season, and we normally break even on those, but at the end of the day, it's like an advertising campaign for the next season. Basically, because I thought if I'm to profit in the future, we need a facility that we can actually play on, so a risk versus reward kind of thing. We ended up raising 50 grand, and we laid a concrete slab on a old bowls green. A lot of sporting clubs are kind of struggling financially, and bowls clubs are probably the ones that are getting hit the hardest. So we went to Bayswater Bowling Club and they had 48 members, bowling members. They were in about 80 grand of debt, and the council were trying to get rid of them. And we merged fully into their club. So it's like old people and young people mixing, and it's
How awesome.
Yeah, it's
So
now a facility that you can kind of age in place. So you can start playing hockey when you're 18, stop playing hockey when you're 40, pick up lawn bowls or pool or darts or whatever other sports they're going to have.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so you didn't just have the capital injection, you also provided, obviously with 30 games a week, they're selling a lot more, drinks and services, and you're mingling the different different age groups. Mate, that is sensational. You're now being kicked off that Rink.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, we got 3 weeks ago now, we got kicked off the Rink. We got ordered by the council to cease operations at the Bayswater Bowling Club. There was 2 houses nearby that complained about the noise. So originally it was that we were like swearing and smashing bottles in the car park and doing stuff that young people do, which is completely unfounded. So then they kind of read the regulations and changed their tact and was like, it's when the puck hits the boards and when the stick hits the concrete, it's echoing and it's making this noise and I can't sleep and my husband goes to bed at 7 p.m. and all this. So the Department of Environmental Regulation came in and measured it. And then at that stage, we found out that we were actually over the acceptable background limit noise after 7 p.m. So we stopped playing games at 7, so we cut 14 games a week. The Bowls Club lost revenue because they, instead of being 3 games a night, there was only 1 game a night. So there was no reason for people to come down unless they were playing. Because you can watch 1 game, but it's done by 7. You're like, what do I do now? Whereas if there was games from 6 to 9, people would come for an hour and a half, have dinner,
hang out,
hang out, play pool.
You sound like the sort of guy that's not just going to go, okay, guys, we're going to stop. What's the next step in this one?
So we've already kind of put some steps into place. The local community newspaper, the Eastern Reporter, we were at the council meeting, it was called really hastily. It was not a scheduled regular meeting. It was like we need to have a special meeting. But then WA Today, which is an online newspaper, found it. And then they called me and asked for a comment. And then it just went nuts. It got picked up by like 4 radio stations, Channel 7, just like all this press that we'd never had and never really seeked before. We gained like 1,000 Facebook likes in a week. And then that in turn, people started emailing me like, my bowls club's struggling. We need places to play, and a couple of the universities are like, we've got massive grounds, not near any houses. Perhaps we could be of assistance. And
wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise, really.
So if we were to, come back together in say a year or 3 years and do another interview, where do you reckon you'll be with it?
My dream is to take it to small towns in Western Australia. Because I got paid to play footy for a town 3 hours northeast of Perth. They would pay me and a couple of mates to go up because they didn't have enough players to field a footy team. There was 3 towns had merged together for 1 team, and they could still only get 16. And I just thought this is not sustainable. But as soon as you lose a footy club, you lose your town because there's no reason for the young people to stay there anymore. It kind of made me realise that footy is not the sport for rural WA because there's not enough people to play. And I'm not going to try and take over footy, but to offer another sport into regional WA, one that's not as competitive and there's no fights, and it's a bit more social and you can kind of mix and mingle with the other towns like that. That would be pretty cool, I reckon. So kind of putting it in between footy and cricket season, so just a 3 or 4 month season would be the way to go.